definitely much more power. Much more power.
Race it on Sunday and sell it on Monday. That's the BMW M3. It's really everything you expect from a sports car. It's unbelievable to think that this is the 5th generation of the BMW M3, and it's actually a very big departure. Gone is the normally aspirated engine. The coupe model is now referred to as the BMW M4, and the 4-door model is referred to as the BMW M3, which is the one we're busy reviewing right now. Everything that you still love about the old M3 is still here. We have a bubble on the bonnet, we have a carbon fiber roof, M-specific mirrors, and then of course we have the quad tailpipes at the back. Inside the M3 is still everything you expect from a normal 3 Series, and that is extremely practical. There's more than enough space, and for rear passengers there's also more than enough space and legroom as well. Of course, this one is finished off with a carbon fiber trim that just adds additional spice and sportiness to this already awesome car. The seats are extremely comfortable for the driver and the passenger. You can definitely spend long trips and short trips inside this car, and it's the perfect car that you can buy if you want a car to be both a racer on the weekend and a daily commuter during the week. At the back, of course, you have ISOFIX fittings for child seats as well, so you will be able to put a baby seat quite comfortably at the back of the car and have the boot space at the back to go away for the weekend or extended holidays.
Let's chat about the engine and the gearbox that's fitted to the F80 M3. Now, this is really the heart and soul of this car. It's a departure for BMW from what we've seen in previous models. This is the first M3 that is turbocharged, and it's not just turbocharged, it's twin turbocharged like we've seen in the 335i range and the N54 engine. Now, all previous M3s were normally aspirated, and they were quite good. They were very good actually. And with this F80 M3, people were looking at the power delivering. Okay, well, 17 kilowatt above the V8 E90, E92 M3 is not a big power jump. It's not a big power jump because the trick is actually the torque. This car is up 150 Newton meters, and it delivers that torque absolutely aggressive throughout the entire rev range. So low at the bottom, you can drive this car like Miss Daisy, and there's enough torque for you to just trot along. And then of course you can pull this car all the way to 7,500 RPMs and just get the max power out of this S55 engine. Now, the S55 engine that's fitted in this car can be found in various other models. You get this engine in the BMW F80 M3, the M4, now also the newly launched BMW M2 competition. Now, in stock form, this car makes 317 kilowatt and 550 Newton meters. But you can also up the power quite easily, as we've seen with the other models of the BMW F80 M3, and that is the competition package. In the competition package, you get this exact same setup with some tuning on the suspension, but the software is really where BMW actually tweaked the car. They bumped the kilowatt up to 331 kilowatt in the competition model, and in the CS model, they bumped the kilowatt up to 339 kilowatt. So you can see just from those power numbers already that this S55 engine is extremely tunable. So if you want to buy a F80 M3 and you want to extract more out of this car, all you got to do is just load some software. A basic stage 1 map will get much more kilowatt and power out of this car. We're actually going to make another video where we compare a stock M3 versus the boot mod software that you can load onto the car, and you can switch between different maps, and that will also give you an idea with what you can get out of this engine. Now, this engine is so versatile that BMW also fitted it to the M4 GTS, and in that car the same engine makes 368 kilowatt and 600 Newton meters. Now, why that's crazy is because that's the same power that the new G20 M3 that's coming out very soon is gonna make. So is the F80 a great platform when it comes to what you can get from the engine and the gearbox? Absolutely. Now the suspension that's fitted to the F80 M3 is M specific. So when I say M specific, I mean this car shares no other parts with any other 3 Series model in the range. Now of course that's not news, everybody knows that the M3 is quite unique, but there's been a lot of R&D that actually went into the suspension to make it more rigid, and BMW take all the lessons that they've learned from this M3 CSL. To make something faster, you strengthen it and you make it lighter, and that's exactly what they've done with this car. So you'll find that there are parts in this car that have been forged, like the wheel carriers are forged, the control arms are forged, and all of that comes together to build a package that is well balanced when it comes to the handling characteristics of this car. So how does this car handle? Excellent. The suspension on this car, you get in 2 flavors. You get the adaptive suspension, and then you also get the normal dampers. Now right now we're driving a car with normal dampers. We're driving a road now that's not that smooth, it's okay, but the dampening is absolutely amazing. Of course this car that we're driving now is fitted with 20-inch wheels, so with the stock jobbies it will probably be smoother as well, but for everyday driving, not bad. Think hardcore hatchback, Golf 7R, A45, something like that, RS3, something with a bit firmer suspension. The M3 is probably in that league. So from a driving perspective, this car is extremely usable to use every day. So on the brakes, BMW have upped the brakes on this car, and that's a big upgrade from the E90 range M3s. With the E90 range, E90, E92 M3, you got one massive piston on the brake caliper, whereas with the F80 M3, it's 4-pot in front and 2-pot at the back when you have the standard brakes fitted. But if you have the ceramic brakes fitted on this car, it's actually 6-pot in front and 4-pot on the back. So you can see that the suspension upgrades and tweaks to this car is not just 17 kilowatt, but if you look at everything, it all comes together. BMW have made the car lighter, they've improved the quality of the parts, and with the braking that's on this car, you will have much better braking performance if you compare this to an E90 range M3, because those 4-pot and 2-pot calipers make a massive difference on the track where your brakes actually heat up extremely quickly. Sure, these brakes are so good, eh? For stock brakes, they're amazing. Another thing that makes the F80 M3 also different compared to normal sporty 3 Series sedans is the fact that the driving modes are quite configurable. You can really set this car up to tighten the steering, to tighten the suspension. So as you get to learn the car, you can find a setting on the car that actually appeals to you, and you can set the car up like that. And that's the beauty of the M3, is that you can drive it normally in the normal type of comfort settings day to day, and when you do take the car out, track, breakfast run, or whatever you have, the car can be set up in the settings that you preferred, and this is a completely different animal. So the F80 M3 has similar usability that you will find in hot hatches, and that would be like a Golf 7R or Golf 7 GTI. It's a type of car that you can drive every day. You don't have to really thrash it or drive it hardcore, but when it comes weekends, or if you want to do a track day or a breakfast run, you have extreme performance. So it's a car with a split personality. It can be very compliant on daily driving, which we're doing now. There's like basically no noise inside the car. You would think that you're just driving a 335i, but you're not. You're driving an M3 with 317 kilowatt, and that's the beauty of this car, and why it's so popular is because it's so versatile that you can use it every day. And when you do want to get maximum performance out of this car, it's extremely easy, and it's a very forgiving car. The M3 is approachable. If you are a novice person that have not driven very fast cars in the past, you can jump in an M3 and you can be a hero immediately, because in comfort mode with all the controls on, like we're driving now, this car is easy to use. If you can afford to buy a car in this price range, there really isn't that much to compete it with. You can either buy yourself a Mercedes-Benz C63, or you can buy you an Audi RS4, although if you go with the Audi RS4 you can only buy the Avant. And then obviously if you're shopping a little bit more higher, new direct competitor for the M3 is actually the new Alfa Romeo Giulia 2.9 turbo. Ferrari engine, crazy technology. That's one of the competitors for this car. But overall, the F80 M3 is a really good car. It's a high performance sedan that just offers you everything. You can have the car seat at the back, you can drive to work Monday to Friday, Saturday you can do a track day, and Sunday you can even do some drag racing, because this car is actually fast in a straight line. Straight line performance is claimed at 3.9 seconds for the DCT, so you get quite a thump of performance in stock form. But what's the pricing like on a used F80 M3? Well, it all depends what type of year model you want to buy. The one that we're driving now is a 2014 model. When this car came out, the DCT spec, this was just over $1 million, and right now you can pick them up from between $590 and say $680. That's about the price range for these cars. So they're quite affordable depending on, you know, what you want to shop. Like, you can choose, am I going to buy myself an Audi RS3, or am I going to buy myself an F80 M3? And I see more and more people are actually upgrading to F80 M3s simply because it's turbocharged, and this car is actually usable at a high altitude as well. Whereas with the V8 M3s, they weren't overly popular as daily driver cars. The V8 was very thirsty, and yeah, high altitude, you really had to, you know, pull the car all the way through to 8,000 RPMs to get out of it, to get the best performance out of it. And with this car, that's not the case. Extremely usable every day, and when you do want to thrash it, you just got to put it in M mode and get the job done. My name is Kurt from E9x, the place where South Africans go to do research when they are buying or selling a car. If you need to know what your car is worth, or if any used car has ever been in an accident or is stolen, simply go to our website, put in the details of the car, and you can generate your report. Catch you back next time. I hope you enjoyed today's review. Cheers.